What is up, everybody? It is the Titan Bros. We are back to preview Tennessee Titans versus the Los, wherever they're at, Chargers. Angeles, is that where they are nowadays? Okay. I'll first address the elephant in the room. First of all, it's early in the morning because I have to work, and we're shooting this video early. Two, I am under the weather. My voice is half gone. My eyes are swollen and red, so I'm a hot mess right now. So I apologize.
Talking about the Titans makes them cry, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to feel any better by the end of this because, we're previewing the matchup of the Titans and the Chargers, and I am not too positive. So is there anything you want to say opening this bad boy?
Well, I said this off air before we got on, but, when you look at it, it looks like two 7-6 AFC teams, so you would think this is a good matchup. But you have one team that's kind of getting healthy at the right time that just got off a win, and then you have another team like us who's really spiraling downhill. So the record is the same, but I feel like these two teams are not in the same spot. And so this game could easily get out of hand if we're not on top of our A game.
Yeah. Sadly, they're getting healthy here late in the season. We're just getting less and less healthy, and you'll hear that soon as when I read this. Who's out for the week, and it's bad. But I think they said Mike Williams and Keenan Allen have only both been healthy in the same game 4 games this year. So they have really struggled with health, but I believe they're both ramped up and ready to go. And now one more thing aside before I get to this injury report. I want to start off by saying I'm not superstitious at all. But, and this I should have said this last week after the Titans got beat by the Jags. In the last two seasons, I have missed 3 games where I wasn't able to watch them at all. All 3 games were easy opponents, and all 3 games we lost. I was not able to watch the Jets Titans last year. Jets were horrible. We got beat. I wasn't able to watch the Titans and Texans last year. Texans were horrible. We got beat. And then this year, I wasn't able to watch Titans versus Jaguars. Jaguars aren't horrible, but they're not good. And we got beat. So I'm not superstitious, but when we play against easy teams, I have got to find a way to watch these games because the guys need me to watch them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating. But anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this disgusting injury report. They have nobody who's out.
Lucky.
They have one doubtful, Derwin James, the safety, which I guess that's a good one to be doubtful.
Yeah.
Questionable is Bryce Callahan, a cornerback, Sebastian Joseph Day, a defensive lineman, and a tackle, Trey Pipkins. Those 3 were questionable. That's all they got. 1 doubtful, 3 questionable. A normal NFL team. For the Tennessee Titans, you ready for this?
Not really, but okay.
On the plus side, nobody's questionable or doubtful. But out.
So basically, we know who's out and who's playing.
Yeah. So out, CJ Board, Treylon Burks, Christian Fulton, Dontrell Hilliard, Danico Autry, Trey Avery, and Amani Hooker. Again.
He is hot too much. Oh, my goodness.
So, there you go. Our cornerbacks, Fulton and Avery are out. Safety, Amani Hooker's out. Our cornerbacks are going to have a tough time with Mr. I'm blanking on his name. Their quarterback.
Justin Herbert?
Herbert. Yeah, Herbert. Yeah, why can't I think of his name?
Is Joey Bosa? Is Joey Bosa playing?
Joey Bosa is on IR. He kind of lives there these days.
Well, that should help us a little bit.
It should. But I feel like I'm still scared of Khalil Mack, who they got on the other side.
Yeah, especially if they put him on Daly.
Oh yeah, put him on Daly. Daly's probably just gonna be like, I'm out.
But I do not say this lightly, but Daly is one of the worst tackles I have ever watched. When I say that he just whiffs all the time, I'm not exaggerating. And even on some good plays, that we did last week, believe it or not, there was some good plays. Tannehill was still getting killed because Daly was allowing somebody to just go scot-free. I mean, I just don't get it. He just, like, the guy runs past and then he's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
doing, you idiot?
I honestly don't get it. I don't get it because last year we had the worst tackle in the NFL in David Quesenberry. He was
We tried to find someone else, that's for sure.
We tried to find somebody worse. Can you imagine if we had Quesenberry on the right and then Dennis Daly on the left?
We would
be
do that.
so screwed. We would have zero hope. But anyways, I had something I was going to say and I don't remember. I think I'm a little foggy in the head this morning. I can't think straight. But yeah, this is not something I'm excited about at all.
You know, I think we'll talk about this in the off season. About Hooker, but I don't think we should have gave him that contract. I think he's good. He just can't stay on the field.
We had Johnny Hooker, David Long, Nate Davis. All three of those guys drafted the same year. All three of them are free agents at the end of the year. And Hooker's the only of the three we re-signed. It should have been Nate Davis.
Yeah.
Maybe David Long. My problem with David Long is, remember, he missed like 6 games last year.
Yeah, I was like, he's got injury problems too.
He's on the IR now, so he's not going to be able to come back until week 18 against the Jags again. So I don't know what to do. But Hooker, he misses too much time. He gets picks. He led our team in picks a couple years ago. Last year, he had the clutch pick against the Bengals, which kind of should have won us the game.
The thing is, you know what they say: the best the best ability is availability, and Hooker is not that. It's same with Fulton. I'm tired of this. I really am. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, that came to mind what I was going to say. They practiced Dylan Radins at left tackle a little bit this week, I mean. So I hope we do that. Because Dennis Daly's just a proven sucky left tackle that we traded just a fifth round pick, but Chig Okonkwo is a 5th round pick. I'd rather have another Chig Okonkwo next year instead of, Dennis Daly. Dylan Radins is a 2nd round pick. I literally don't see how he could be worse. I agree. So I say throw Mr. Radins out there. See if we have anything in this ball. And again, I don't see how it could be worse. Because it's not even like Dennis Daly is trying and then gets knocked down or something. He just whiffs. He's not even slowing the people down.
Yeah.
So even if all he does, all Radins does is just give him a shove and then gets around him, that would be better than just completely whiffing.
Yeah, I would say that offensive line needs help. That offensive line needs a lot of help going into the offseason. We got so many holes, though. And I remember said that last offseason, we really didn't address any of our issues.
We did cut Roger Saffold, though.
We did cut him. Yeah. Here's the thing. You said Nate Davis is going to be a free agent, right? Because him and Ben Jones are the only two. I'm like, we could keep them, but we might lose them. If we lose Nate Davis and don't really replace him, I'm going to be so mad.
And Ben Jones, I think, is going to be 34 next year.
That's the thing. He's getting old. And so that whole off line could need help.
Yeah. Anyway. He was on the injury report all week, too. He was on the injury report with a neck, which is never good. But he's playing, so. So you ready to get into these matchups?
Yeah.
So far, every time we've done this, we both had one that was the same.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and kick off my first one. We have to control the clock. Our defense is so banged up. Our defense is disgustingly banged up. I think we're missing 5 or 6 starters on the defensive side of the ball, plus some depth pieces like Avery. Trey Avery is just a depth piece on defense, but guess what? He's hurt too. We have to. They're not good against the run. They're not. They're actually really bad against the run. We have to control the clock, let our defense be fresh as possible, keep Justin Herbert on his hiney, on the bench, and just do those 8-minute drives. Even if we're just getting a field goal, 7, 8-minute drives, let their offense just sit on the bench.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I said this. Usually, if Titans can get Henry going and we control the clock, we win those games. That's what's so weird about last week. And I remember saying this to somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I remember saying that. I'm like, that was odd. Like, Derrick Henry was having a heck of a game, and we lost big time. We don't usually play like that. That doesn't usually happen. And I think it's because turnovers. He would have a good drive and then fumble it, or Tannehill would fumble it, or Tannehill would throw a pick. So, he was having he was getting good yards, but no points to show for it. And that's another thing. We got to get points. Too many times we turned the ball over, when we was about to at least get a field goal out of it, and we turn it over. So we got to get points against these guys. But I agree, that's a good one.
We did that last year against the Patriots. I remember Dontrell Hilliard rushed for over 100 yards. Deontay Foreman rushed for over 100 yards. But we had 3 or 4 turnovers.
That would get you beat.
I remember Vrabel in the press conference saying everybody that carried the ball today had a fumble. So I remember Foreman had one. Hilliard had one. I feel like we had a third running back, and I don't remember who it was, came in and fumbled once. And I don't know, maybe Tannehill fumbled or something on a rush or something. I don't know what it was, but it was the same way where the offense was, got some yards, but we ended up getting beat pretty bad because we were fumbling. So
yeah, we gotta clean that up because if nothing else, even when we're bad, Vrabel, we don't usually turn over a bunch for Vrabel, but last week we did. 4 turnovers, that's ridiculous, 2 is too many. 4 is just ridiculous. Anyway, so I think my top one, and I was going to say this before I knew Fulton was out, even though I kind of assumed he was because that's what he does. But I want to see what our pass rush can do against these receivers. Like you said, they're going to have the firepower, both of them playing at the same time, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They're a team that doesn't run the ball near as much as they throw in. So if you ask me, we should have all of our secondary back. If they beat us by running, then so be it. We'll take that, in my opinion. But we saw what we let Trevor Lawrence do, and I think we both would say Herbert's better than Trevor Lawrence, at least right now. We saw what we let Trevor Lawrence do last week. We got to find a way to, even if it's pass rush, but we got to find these secondary, who's all second and third strings. We got to slow it down a little bit, or there's just no way we're going to win. If we play like we did last week, no way we're going to win because Herbert's going to just pick us apart. So I think we need to really just forget the run stop. Hope Jeffrey Simmons and the other defensive linemen can actually slow that down by themselves. But I don't want to see us have many people in the box. We need to have all, cornerbacks and safeties out there. They'll get small balls as much as you can on defense.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think they're not going to run the ball that much. They're going to throw the ball. And, I think we'll need all the help we can in the backfield. Oh, secondary.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, gosh, our secondary is going to be what? Greg Maven.
Exactly. Adams.
Yeah, Andrew Adams. Andrew Adams is going to be the safety because Monty Hooker's out again.
Well, yeah, but I'm just like, that whole secondary is beat up. That's why I say we need more people we can get back, though, because
a couple things I forgot to say. I felt embarrassed after recording the video last week and then realizing Elijah Molden was actually on IR again. Because I remember saying, I guess he's coming back. But he's not coming back. He's on IR. But we designated a couple people to return this week. Lonnie Johnson Jr. We'll see if he, it's Saturday morning right now. So we'll figure out later today if he's going to be activated. But we need people in the secondary, missing 2 corners and a safety. Also, Zach Cunningham.
He's going to be back.
Maybe. He was put on that 21-day window.
Gotcha.
So
I'm terrified that Herbert's going to have a 400 passing yard game on us.
Oh, 100%. He thinks those yards for days.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, if they beat us by running Eckler, is that the running back they have? If they beat us by him, then I say so be it. But I say we cannot just let them just gash us throwing the ball. So that's got to be a part. And it's going to be difficult because we are one banged-up team. But
so stupid.
And I would say this, Elijah Vaughn, I was actually, before in the offseason, I was wanting to see what he would look like in the second season. But really, injuries just robbed him from that, didn't it? But I don't think it didn't. Did he get hurt much his rookie season? I don't remember it.
I don't think he got hurt much, but I feel like he wasn't great. I feel like
you don't?
there was.
Oh, I liked him. You didn't like him?
He got beat deep a lot. Or he got benched there for a while. Is what really happened. Is he got benched?
Elijah Molden?
Elijah Molden. Yeah, I forgot who they. It was Chris Jackson. Is that what the guy's name was? He was a 7th round pick in the 2020 draft, I think. Where like especially the week 1 against the Cardinals, he got slaughtered. Sorry, but he got slaughtered. He got benched for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and that by Chris Jackson. I really think that's what his name was. Very plain name. But anyways, and then he came back and he had some highs and some lows. Like he did have the pick 6 against Carson Wentz and the Colts. So yeah, but I've never had a groin injury, so I don't understand how long it takes to come back from. But that's what he missed all that time with. And then the game that he came back, he re-injured it, and so
Yeah.
assuming it's he re-injured the same injury, but
Yeah. Anyway, I just make this a whole other conversation, but we just have so many holes on this team. I'm like, we can't fix this in one offseason, and that sucks. But
No.
anyway, I really do feel like last year was our Super Bowl window. We let it close, and we're back to almost rebuild mode.
Problem is, it didn't have to close. Like we didn't have to trade away AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, fail.
Yeah. The problem is there's way too many times where we cut an aging veteran where that's the right move to cut like a 34-year-old Saffold who's in and out of the lineup who is due like $12 million.
But we don't replace him.
But don't replace him. We replace him with the person that was their backup. It's like, oh, so now it's like we're going into the season with injuries is what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So anyways, again, we keep getting ahead of ourselves. We're 7-6 and we have like a 2 or 3 game lead on the AFC South right now. We're talking about, oh, we're done with next season. But anyways, I'm just going to jump right into my next topic here. Titans have been good at this year, not the last couple of weeks. But on defense, bend, but don't break.
Yeah.
And that's what's been the Titans' philosophy. Titans are like, before these last couple of weeks, injuries on defense caught up with us and we've been garbage. But before that, we were holding the Bengals to 20, the Chiefs to 20, the Colts were under 20 both times we played them. The Redskins or the Commanders, whatever they are, or were 7. What were they?
What, like points?
Yeah, it's like teams, I believe.
17 or something like that, yeah.
I think so. I don't think we were 22 because I think a touchdown would have put them ahead of us. But anyways,
yeah, would have.
Our defense, but here's the thing, even though we were so good at points allowed, we gave up, especially in the air, we gave up a lot of yards in the air.
I agree with that.
And I was fine with it. It was a bend, don't break, where they would move, and as soon as they would get where there's less field, they would stall and have to stop and kick a field goal.
Yep.
That's what our approach has to be. If we think we're just going to be locked down corners, aggressive pass rush, and they're just getting swallowed up, that's not going to happen with these people that if you're not a Titans fan, you don't even know who's on the field. I'm a hardcore Titans fan, and half time I'll be like, who the heck is that right now? Just like Trey Avery when he was first making some plays. I don't remember what number even is, like 30 or something, but I'm like, who the heck is that?
But that's an excellent point, and I do think it's going to be a red zone battle. Because like you said, with this secondary so banged up, they're going to move the ball. But can we make them get field goals instead of touchdowns? Can we just stand up in the red zone and let them get field goals? And that's an excellent point. And that's why a lot of times people don't. Now, granted, the last 2 weeks, notwithstanding, because they was awful. A lot of people talk about, oh, the Titans' defense is, especially the secondary, is so bad because they go by yards. And like you said, we will a lot of times allow a lot of yards. But at the end of the day, the teams will only score 17 points, 20 points. And that's what I care about. I care about how many points you allow, not the yards. And that's why I'm going to say our defense is better than what they say we are because they go by yards. You know what I mean? So that kind of goes against a bend but not break defense. But lately, the last 2 weeks, we bend and then we break.
Yeah, sadly, truly, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but really, the only way we're winning this is if Titans defense is clutch on third downs / within their own 30-yard line on defense, and the offense has got to move the ball. And with Burks out again, like that must have been, I knew that was a bad concussion. But my goodness, this is now.
I hate this very much, but sadly with him, it's kind of like I said about Mullen in the second deal. Injuries kind of robbed him from his rookie deal. We never really see what we got. I would say this: I was beginning to like what I saw from him. I don't know. He started a little slow, but I was beginning to like what we saw. But isn't that Titans' luck? Well,
yeah,
a player starts heating up. You're like, okay, I like this. Injuries.
That's it. 111 yards against the Packers. Yeah, like 70-something yards, I think it was, against the Bengals. Who played the
Bengals? Eagles, which
was
it was only it had that big
like 25-yard catch where he snagged that ball out of the sky, got concussed, and held on to that bad boy even when he was on the ground, getting his first receiving touchdown.
Here's the thing: you can't blame him for concussion. I mean, anybody would be concussed for that hit, but it does look bad that you have 2 injuries that make you miss significant time in one season. So that's not a good thing. We'll see.
The only good thing about it is they're not soft tissue issues. It's not like he's being a Marcus Mariota with his MCL sprain and his stinger and just all the and hamstring. And I think it's 2017. He dealt with the hamstring all the time. It's not like he's having soft tissue issues. He's having bad luck injuries like concussions and turf toe.
I would say this. By the way, did you see Mariota got benched?
I did. I also see he kind of quit on the team. There's some weird thing going on there.
Oh, I did not see that part.
Yeah, we're like, after he had heard he was benched, he like just disappeared out of nowhere. Nobody knew where he was. And then all of a sudden he starts talking about this ghost knee injury and how he's getting out evaluated. And then some people were saying he just had a baby. So people were thinking he's just kind of purposely putting himself on IR to spend more time at home. And like this really weird, and Arthur Smith is like throwing him under the bus. It's like some really weird situation transpired.
That doesn't sound like Mariota because like him his play, he's usually a good guy. But anyway, that's off topic though. I gotta look into that. But anyway, what was we talking about? Traylon Burks. Yeah. I wish we could just see more because with the season winding down, he's not going to get – because you feel like when he comes back, it might take him a little bit to get going again. By the time he gets going again, the season could be over. You know what I mean? So I'm afraid what he's got now is basically what he's going to have at the end of the season, like stat-wise. So we're not going to have much to go on. Here's the thing is I remember thinking, what we need is a number 2. Okay, I like Traylon Burks, but we need a number 2 option. Still think that. But this offensive line is so bad that I'm like, I almost feel like our drafts and free agency should all go to offensive line, even though I would love to have another weapon.
Yeah, I agree. But again, we're robbing ourselves of our off-season video conversations.
It's sad, but I'm going to get my mind out, even though we're on top of the division. But
now here's the thing: I will root like heck for us if/when we make the playoffs. But the problem is, deep down inside, I'm like, it's going to be a little fun ride, but we don't deserve to be here.
No, we do not. If we was in any other division, we would be number 2 at best, number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
so what's your other matchup?
My other matchup is I want to see without Joey Bosa. It's kind of a Bosa.
Good one. Got him.
But it's kind of an offline / a Tannehill thing. They got to protect the ball, and they got to protect Tannehill. You know, Tannehill has a problem sometimes. I think he only done it once this year, but he fumbles a decent bit when he gets it sometimes. And you're talking about you want Derrick Henry to control the clock. That means we also turnovers would kill us. We saw that last week because I still say we're a better team than Jackson, if you ask me. But turnovers can really make a bad team beat a better team, and so we got to protect the ball. So we need to protect him. You know, they don't have Joey Bosa, so that helps. We got to find a way to protect him. You know, without Daly, that's a good thing. I think we'll see. But we got to find a way to protect him because I think we're going to be heavily on the run. But you know there's going to be third downs that we're going to have to throw. We got to find a way to protect him. And Tannehill has to protect the ball that's fumbling / throwing a pick because he did both last week. You know what I mean? Those will absolutely kill us this week. We got to protect the ball. And we need to make this game ugly. If we make this game, if the Chargers play finesse football, they'll beat us. We got to just, control the ball. Don't turn it over. Tannehill, and maybe we could get some turnovers on defense. So we got to muddy this thing up. That's the only way we can beat them. That's the only way we can beat them. But I'm looking mostly at Tannehill. Else, you got to protect the ball. If he gets some picks or fumbles, it's over.
Yeah, I agree. And here's one thing, the only thing that gives me hope. Now, obviously, it's a lot of people's pet peeves. They hate hearing about people's fantasy football teams. But I'll talk about mine from last year just a little bit. Justin Herbert, for no reason, and it's decently consistent. We're like 1 out of every 5 or 6 games, he just has a dud. And again, I knew it because I had him in fantasy football last year, where for no reason at all, that their offense always scores 10 points the whole game. And again, it's not like it happens all the time, but it happens on a consistent basis.
Right.
So like every 4 to 6 games, you'll have a game like that where he just does nothing. Like on fantasy football, he can make 10 points. I'm like,
so you're hoping it's this week?
I'm hoping it's this week. I'm definitely.
The problem though is you look at our defense. They're home. This doesn't spell a game that's going to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we shall see. I would like to, this is not one of my notes, but like to see us get some pass rush. But our pass rush has been absolutely dead the last couple of weeks.
Ever since we lost Autry. I think they said ever since we lost Autry against the Packers, we've had 3 sacks as a team.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that we lost Autry. I really do. And, let's just call it what it is. Jeffrey Simmons has not been the same since his ankle injury. He has not been. So you have him who's not really the same, and then Autry's out. So I'm like, we don't really have anyone to rush the quarterback right now. And I hate – this is old news. I hate so much we paid Harold Landry that money just so he can sit on the bench without injured. But I hate that so much. That just ticks me off because we paid too many injury-prone people.
Yeah, now this is a couple weeks ago, but there was a stat and Titans were by far leading most expensive bench or something like that, which is basically the amount of money that's going to people that are on IR. So at least we're leading some stat, right?
Yeah.
Another stat that I saw, they said that Tennessee Titans were by far, the winner of this stat was the most injured team. Again, 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Last year, I say it's bad luck. This year, I'm like, there's got to be something we're doing. Even if it's the conditioning coach, I don't know. There's got to be something we're doing that's stupid. I don't know what it is. Are we going too hard or too easy on practice? I don't know what it is. But not as 2 years in a row. To me, I don't think this is a bad coincidence. I think we're doing something stupid.
It has to be. It has to be. It doesn't make any sense that 2 years in a row we are the most injured team. Last year we had a record for the most players used in a season.
Yeah.
With 91. I think we're at 80 something now.
And I guess our depth is not as good, or maybe our schedule is harder, which I don't think it is. But last year we made it work. We was the number 1 seed. We made it work. This year we have not. We started off with making it work, but then it's catching up to us.
I'll tell you why. And I meant to say this earlier, and we're already 28 minutes in, so we probably need to move on to matchups. But in Mike Vrabel's tenure as Titans head coach, he has 3 or 4 games a year where it's there's no reason Titans should be in this game or win it, but Mike Vrabel somehow just pulls it out. He has 3 or 4 wins like that every year this season. He has not had one of those yet.
No, he has not. Well, you saw the stat that we haven't beat a winning record team yet. People that now is calling the Commandos that because they have a winning record, but when we beat them, they was 1-4, so they wasn't at that time.
Yeah.
And guess what? Chargers are 7-6, so it's barely a winning record, but it is. So let's see if we can get our first W against a winning record team. But anyway, you want to do predictions?
Yep, I'll just go ahead and jump right on into best case and worst case scenario, and you jump into your. Actually, I guess I always forget. Do we put the prediction at the end of what we actually think will happen? Do I do best case, worst case, prediction, or do we go best case, worst case? Then you go best case, worst case, and then we go for
that.
Okay. So I like to get the negatives out of the way.
All right.
Worst case scenario, our secondary is so banged up. We have just Jimmy Joe from the local grocery store being drafted as our pass rush. Herbert's standing there all day just going, oh, yeah, look how wide open he is, and just chucking it 50 yards every other play. And then they just slaughter us, and we immediately can't run. Like halfway through the second quarter, we just got to start throwing, and we just get slaughtered 37-13. I could see this being our third blowout in a row. There's no, I mean, you're just in denial if you think that is not a possibility that we just get destroyed. I hope it doesn't happen. Could happen. But best case scenario. Best case scenario happens just like I said. Our defense bends. It does not break. Herbert decides to have his little poo-poo game that he has every now and again. Titans sustain long drives, finish a couple of them, riding Derrick Henry all the way, and we end up pulling out like a 20-17 victory. Sadly, I think that's our best case scenario. I don't see anybody where we just blow them out.
Well, like I said, we got to muddy up the game and make it ugly. And so, I think mine's very similar, but it's because Titans have such a specific way they can win. There's not many other ways, you know what I mean? So, best case scenario, I agree with you. We just got to be the 3-yard and cloud of dust kind of team here. We got to just run and run and run some more. And then when we do get in a third and 8, Tannehill, do not turn the ball over. You got to protect the ball.
Pull it down like you're doing against the Eagles, I guess.
What is it?
Said pull it down and run it like you're doing against the Eagles.
Yes, exactly. Yes, like you can't turn the ball over. We got to muddy it up. Bend but not break defense. Well, they're getting field goals instead of touchdowns. And we do just enough to win it. And then on that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that pass rush is non-existent, and Justin Herbert throws for 450 yards, and they destroy us. And then on offense, they stack the box. Derrick Henry is another 18 runs for 32 yards, and Tannehill has a pick, or just no one's open because without Traylon Burks, we don't have any weapons. We just don't. And the Tannehill can't get nothing going, and so we just go 3 and out as Justin Herbert goes down and scores touchdowns. And we get blown out. Very similar to what you said, but that's because Titans are a very specific team, like how they can win. They can't beat you.
He froze. All right, sorry about the technical difficulties. Josiah's computer died. So right in the middle of his rant about us getting slaughtered as a worst case scenario, but also a realistic scenario. But we are going to go ahead and throw out our official predictions. And as much as it pains me, and for the first time in the Mike Vrabel era, I'm picking us to lose our 4th game in a row. I think we lose 27-17. Like, I think we won't get slaughtered, but it's never like close, like towards the end.
I agree. And, it's funny. I had 27-17 as well. So to change it up, I'm going to say we'll lose 30-17.
Give them an extra field goal because we fumble it. Strip sack.
Exactly. I am not being a Debbie Downer here, but everything really points to the Chargers win here. You know what I mean? Everything points to and losing 4 in a row, though, this would be 3 in a row.
4.
No, 4. Yeah, this would be 4 in a row. Yeah. We've never done that with Vrabel, but this team is so banged up and just talentless to begin with. And the Chargers, they're a good team, but like you said, they do have a way, because they're 7-6, so they have a way of losing games they shouldn't. But maybe they do that. But I just don't feel like this is that week. I just don't. But we shall see, I guess, right?
Yep. Offense doesn't have enough talent. Defense has too many injuries.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
I guess we'll see how it goes. So however it goes, tighten up anyway. We'll have to win the next game against the Texans. Have to. And we'll probably have a win and in, sadly. I could easily see it coming down to week 18 when whoever wins of the Jags and Titans go to the playoffs. Can't believe I'm saying this.
That's pathetic. Yeah.
So whatever happens, tighten up. Best of luck. Titan Bros signing out.